Okay, guys, you're welcome to Think Future. This is our third week, and we are here to discuss about our product, our startup called Afwego, afwego.com. So let's jump into it. I've been very, very excited about this one.
Yeah.
This is something we've worked on literally a whole year. We've been pushing it. We've been
You've been killing it.
Yes, we've been killing it and trying to see that we can really create something that is very dynamic, something that is very good, and something that could really impact a lot of startups. So where do we start from? We start from where it all started from. The idea. yes. Yeah. Okay.
Where did this come from? How did you even start to
think about
this? Yes.
Okay. From my part, I think it started from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2020, COVID hits. And we'll look at the challenges that most of businesses were going through. I remember 2020, end of 2020. Then we had a lot of issues with businesses. How to attract new customers and spaces and where to rent. All that was a very, very huge challenge. And I remember for me, there's a word that kept coming into my mind. It was creating spaces for a lifetime.
Okay.
So this is something I was looking at for me from my social work, and I was looking at in the line of Kafero Foundation as a social impact.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, okay, what can I do that can really help a lot of startups figure out how they go through this period of time? Then boom. Then I meet with James, and it changes the whole conversation.
Yeah.
So I meet James, and James is thinking about, okay, there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on online.
Yeah.
Aziz, we need to do something.
Yeah.
We need to build something great.
Yeah.
We need to look at what these guys are doing in India.
Yeah.
And I think we've looked at, I remember you're the first guy who introduced me to your favorite country, Estonia.
Yeah,
In
Estonia.
terms of how they've been able to digitalize the whole country, from everything, from citizenship to whatever you want to do. And when you introduced me to Estonia, it was very, very interesting. Mm-hmm. I spent a lot of my time reading about these guys and what they were doing, and I think our idea was birthed within that time.
Yeah.
And we figured out, we struggled a lot with coming up with names. What do we call this platform?
Yeah.
Basically at the start it was, okay, can we create a builder? Can we create a builder that can help young entrepreneurs be able to launch their businesses online?
Yeah.
A builder that is cheap, that is affordable,
mm-hmm.
that is most likely free.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to help these guys build their businesses online, be able to integrate them with local payment gateways and sell their products whatever they wanted to sell.
Yeah.
So the idea was born for us.
Yeah.
And you came up with Afwego, and then you tell me, hey man, this is Afwego, Africa we go, and I think this can be something great that we can create.
Yeah.
And boom. Mm-hmm. We managed to go through a lot of planning and designing this idea and think about so many things that we managed to put together, and then started to launch out the business. But where I want us to start from, I think 2, 3, 4 things. First is in raising capital.
Mm-hmm.
This is we wanted to look at how we can raise capital. We will talk about raising capital. We'll talk about the presence that we started looking at to put our platform, and maybe to some few things. I don't know if it is necessary. Maybe you could share a few on some of them. Why we wanted to go into those places. Yes, so I want you to pick on whatever you pick on, and if you have another question that comes to me from there, then we can take it on from there.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like the smile you have on your face when you're talking about the inception.
Yes, yes.
It gives me a good feeling that you have a good feeling, you know?
Yes.
I think as a startup, when you have something that you feel so proud of,
Yes.
nothing beats that.
Yes,
Even
yes.
before it's out in the market, even
Yes.
as, you know, that's what keeps you giving
Yes.
your all. That's what keeps you winding and grinding and trying
Yes.
to make, you
Yes.
know, to make it what it is.
Yes.
The startup story I can't add anymore. You just aced it. That's
Yes.
possibly everything that I would have said about it.
Yes.
The key interesting parts for me was the thing that I would really want to highlight is the day you told me, let's make a website builder for people to build website. And I told you, website?
Yes.
For who?
Yes.
How many people will I reach for with websites?
Yes,
You know?
yes.
And then we sat down and did the math and said we could hit and we could make 1,000 websites, and with 1,000 websites we'd be able to break even.
Yes.
And I thought to you and I said, yeah,
Yeah.
seems good. We could run a whole budget for a year, which is a good budget.
Yes.
I'd get paid a good pay, even
Yes.
as you know, as an employee.
Yes.
I said, but this is not enough.
Mm.
You know, I remember I said, this is not enough. If we are going
Yeah.
to transform Africa, we need to see 1 million. We need to see 10 million
Yes.
subscribers. And then I said, I know everyone is online.
Yes.
Everyone is on social media.
Yes.
Can we create them e-shops and not
Yes.
websites?
Yes,
And
yes.
then that's when we bought, you know, we
Yes,
bust.
you're like, okay,
we're like,
poof.
that's it.
That's it. How
That's
do we
it.
create it?
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think for me, that is where I feel us having the impact. The impact is in the numbers.
Yes.
We have a product that's amazing, that can make a big difference. But if it makes a difference for a very small number of people, then it hasn't made the difference.
Yes.
So we had to get down. I remember that happened after you had built the initial product.
Yes,
and it was
yes.
ready to go, and then I take you back into breaking it down again.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
we have to add all this all together, because I thought that, you know, we could do better.
Yes.
So for me, it's a good journey, and that we've come to this point where we've now finally gotten to the point to launch out.
Yes.
And I think for me, the issue issue I'd like to raise on your part is your motivation in building the product.
Yes.
For the market for Africans, coming from a business, design, and social work
Yes.
background.
Yes.
What would you think we could do now going into the market
Yes.
to make that impact?
Yes.
That impact that cuts across. How do we get people to now actually get on board?
Okay.
Because now you have the product, it's out there.
Yes.
What is it that you're going to do? What do we do now to take us to get it to the people that actually need it?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a very good question. One of the things I have understood over time is that if you want to launch any business, the first thing you need to understand is that, does the business make meaning? I think for me, it comes from that point. Does it make meaning? I usually talk about it. You know, when Google was launched, Google's vision was to democratize information. It wasn't about making money. It wasn't. They wanted to make sure that they can make information available to anyone to use it. The same to most of all these guys. When you look at Facebook or Twitter or WhatsApp, and you can see what the impact of WhatsApp when it comes to Africa. Then you look at Airbnb and trying to, there has to be, we are in a shared economy. So you want to make sure that as you create business, can people share in that growth,
success and growth? Yeah.
And that's the thing that me and you, we shared a lot. Is that when we started the business, we were really not looking at money.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually what can we generate out of.
Yeah.
It was so much of what can it do
Yeah.
to help a lot of people.
Yeah.
get an opportunity to put business out. So, and I remember in our days of developing the product, it was so much about helping people. And because it was so much about that, we used to benchmark from some of the biggest, platforms that are out there. And we're like, okay, if this platform, can we make ours free? Okay, how do we make it sustainable? But then how do we grow it? I think when it comes from building a product that is about serving people, serving the masses, you don't really have to struggle a lot, because you understand that me as Aziz, would I really have wanted this product? What would it help me to do? And I think those are some of the key challenges that we were finding. And you remember when we started our conversation, we managed to secure our first funding, for the product for $1 million when we haven't put the product out.
Yeah, sure.
But when you look at the conversation we had with our first investor, is that his conversation was not about making money. You remember very well in our meetings, most of the times he always spoke about one thing, that as long as you are going to move businesses from the formal to informal sector, this is something I have dreamt of doing over the years in Africa. So I am ready to play a role into this. And that taught me something, and I got to understand that as long as you're trying to build something that is there to help people and create an avenue for people to build their communities or build their make a difference or maybe launch out business, you are going to succeed along the way. It does not mean that it's going to be a simple journey. There's a lot of things you need to do moving forward, but at least you know that the first thing I am going out to do is that I have a problem to solve. And I think we had about 3 problems at that time. One of the first problem was skills gap. Everyone in Africa wanted to do, we had really actually understood after COVID so much from Uganda that the only way to move forward now to run business, you must go digital. But how do you go digital? And I remember in those days they were showing us on TV. You remember you could see on TV, and the school is trying to teach on TV, and these guys are struggling, are finding every way to share what they have. But then the question, I had a question, and I'm like, you're teaching kids everywhere openly on a national TV, but you're teaching things of primary 7, and they're being watched by also guys who haven't even, who
haven't learned how to spell
or do anything. So there was that huge challenge, because they looked at TV as the only avenue to communicate. Then I understood that, okay, we must create this other avenue for communication, but it should be affordable, it should be accessible, it should be easy to use. Anyone wants to go and build a site or do what, there are so many great builders out there, Wix or whatever, Squarespace or any of these, or Shopify and all these other ones, but the difference is that, do they serve the African market?
I guess that's where the
so that's something we wanted to address. Can they serve African market? Can I create a platform where also, along as we are growing, we can integrate local suppliers? I can have local suppliers of beans,
your local meal,
from the market, and I can have them on my shop. Which I can, again, from my shop, move them to my social media platform. So I can turn my Facebook becomes the shop, and Instagram the shop, and Snapchat the shop. And I can be able to sell there immediately. I can receive my money on my mobile money instantly. And at the same time, I can order from the wholesaler guy downtown to deliver the products to my customer uptown. So that was the goal. We wanted to achieve a product that could answer that. And I think that's something that we have worked on. I can't say that the product is perfectly there, but that's how products are. So we want to keep innovating and looking at what our customers want, what our users are interested in, and how can we help them grow their businesses better. And then, like you said, then we also started on the issue of tax, and we said, okay, we want also to work with government. Can they create a simple way to tax these startups so cheap, so that you don't break them, but they can be able to grow online and have a way also to put something back to the government to build on that. And then also we also looked at What was the other key aspect of our product? I think we
I
also
think,
looked at
yeah.
not influencers.
I think
freelancers.
Yeah, freelancers. But I think
Yes.
In addition to where you are, the main hurdles that Africa's digital transformation was facing, the first that you mentioned very clearly,
Yes.
no skills.
Yes.
In any society, if I don't have skills, if I cannot wake up today and pin this poster on my wall,
Yes.
the best thing I need to do is have the money.
Yes. Have the money for
So
someone
if I
else to
can,
pin it.
so I'll pull up my phone or my message, send it out, invite someone in, come and fix it.
And if there are only 5 people who can fix it, so that means also the prices.
That means I need more money.
It's a
Okay.
bit
So
expensive
now
to
you
do
don't
that.
have the skills,
Yes.
but then we also lack the capital
Yes.
to hire
the
skilled
people to deliver
to actually
on that.
deliver our
Yes.
transformation.
Yes.
So that was the second gap. The second hurdle that we were facing was we had low skills and no capital to hire the skills.
Yes.
And what is even more interesting is
Yes.
the people who have the skills or who we think are very skilled don't actually have the skills,
skills
because
to-
what happens is
Yes.
we are in a community where we mostly learn on the job.
Yes. Yes.
Because we haven't been exposed to very good technology.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
the few who have been exposed
Yes.
are running agencies that nobody can actually
Afford.
afford,
Yes.
and they're only working with the big, the big farms,
big farms and government
organization and
institutions.
governments, and then the really, smart guys who have learned on the job like me
Yes.
are still not affordable for you. We actually not skilled, but we are
Yes.
still going to charge you some money to give you our low skilled.
Yes, yes, yes.
Which was another hurdle.
Yes.
And I think that was quite crucial in us understanding the second aspect of the problem,
Yes,
right?
yes.
In order to be able to create a solution.
Yes.
And I think the last one was, therefore, if you have no capital, you have no skills, there's no
And
market.
even the skills which are there are not
As skilled, as competitive enough in the
to
world
give you something
market,
that you can compete with.
Correct. Then
Yeah.
there's no market for you.
Yes.
So then that's what happens. That's what drives our earlier problem that we discussed in the first
Yes.
or maybe our second episode,
Yes.
where we mentioned
Yes.
the failings of African,
Yes.
African
Yes.
digital space,
Yes.
us being consumers and not producers.
Yes.
So I think that was where all this came from, and that's what we tried to solve.
Yes.
And I think you've done an amazing job.
Yes.
You as the chief product officer, I think you've done an amazing job setting out that.
Yes.
I usually just sit back and I'm saying, not that, change
Yeah,
this, change that.
yeah.
So I usually do it sometimes with a lot of disrespect, not thinking of how many sleepless nights you put
Guys have
in,
taken-
you put
put a
in
product
to
together.
get it there.
No.
But at the end of the day, like I said, it's for the greater good, you know.
Yes,
And when
yes.
we look back at it and smile,
Yes.
you're still happy that I made a little
Yes.
bit of life difficult in that space.
Yes.
But coming down to securing the funds, like you said, $1 million. I think for me that was the easiest $1 million we've ever scored.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we didn't have to do much. It
Yes.
was just someone who saw
Yes. Yes.
and felt
He saw the problem that
yes,
we wanted to
felt
solve.
the same way that we did. He saw that we had a problem. He saw that it was legitimately required that a solution is found.
Yes.
And he just wanted to be associated with it.
Yes. Talk about our growth in terms of spaces that we're trying to open up for Afwego as a product. Where and why we are trying to look at those places.
Yeah, and so we decided. We had, in our planning phase, we had 3 key aspects.
Yes.
We had resources,
Yes.
we had capital, and we had people.
People. Yes.
These were key aspects of the
Of
resources,
our product,
of
yes.
our product.
Yes.
And so as a company, we
Yes.
decided that whatever it is that we're going to produce
Yes.
has to take care
Yes.
of either the resources or the capital
And the people.
or the people.
Yes.
So we broke down the company in
Yes, yes.
3 legs
Yes.
or arms,
Yes.
or I don't know which other body parts can be broken
Yes,
down. Okay,
yes, yes, yes.
So So in the 3 arms or legs, we put our initial presence in the UAE,
Yes.
out of Sharjah in Dubai.
Research and technology.
Sharjah Research and Technology Innovation Park.
Yes.
That was our first entity. That was is supposed to, not
Help
was,
us with
is supposed to
research
take care
and
of,
and
the research,
product development.
the product development, the design,
Yes.
the whole aspect of
our product.
Yes.
Yes.
That's basically dealing with mostly capital in terms of the product going out and being fit
Yes.
For the market. Then we had resources.
Yes.
So we registered Afwego.com
Yes.
In the US
Yes.
as a Delaware C Corp.
Yes.
Which again was to take care of now resources.
Yes. Looking at resource opportunities that
correct.
we can be able to.
Correct.
To be part
You're
of.
looking at all the
Yes.
the venture capital, the farms, the
Yes.
integrations that we need.
Yes, yes.
Because the reason we were what we want to change is when you're best in Africa, you don't get access to these integrations.
Yes.
Because
and opportunities.
Yeah,
literally
because
also.
in Africa, the challenge is when you want to build an app or a platform like like we had,
Yes.
Getting these integrations direct
Yes,
is
yes,
hard.
yes,
For
yes.
example, we don't have IBANs.
Yes.
So even without an IBAN account,
Yes,
it's
yes.
impossible
Very,
to get
very
so many
simple
small
things.
things.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
but
yes.
that keeps you from getting key integrations.
Yes.
So that balance helped
Yes.
us that way.
Yes.
So now all the integrations we're picking from America and the resources and
Yeah,
the
working with-
opportunities,
with American
them,
companies.
Yes, working
Yes.
with American companies helps us to complete and fulfill
Yes,
the
yeah.
desired outcome. And lastly, the people.
Yes.
So for the people, because we've built this product mostly to start, like the name itself is called Afwego.
Yes.
Afwego is
Yes.
Africa we go. It can also be off we go. It can
Yes.
also be I don't know, as fine as we go.
Yes, yes.
You call it whatever it is that
Yes.
appeals to you, but that's what we were trying to create. And for the people, we decided to bench to set up actually and
Within Uganda and
establish
Rwanda.
in Rwanda, Uganda, and East Africa.
And looking at growing to other countries.
And looking
too.
at growing into Africa, in all the other African countries. And basically it's for the same reason we were saying earlier. Right now in, I think, some countries in Africa, you'll find Facebook is banned because they don't
Yes.
have a presence.
Yes.
Because the governments there don't want them to earn without giving
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
So we had to be a little bit smart and have a presence, put boots on ground.
Yeah.
Also, you're trying to make an impact amongst people who might not appreciate the digital space
Yes,
as
yes.
a whole complete space that they can actually excel in.
Yes.
So telling them from the digital world to come to the digital space
Yes,
might
yes, yes.
end up into a digital,
Yes.
a digital failure. So we decided, okay, we are going to move them from the physical into the digital space.
Yes, yes.
And that's basically how we've gone about it.
Yes,
to
yes,
leading
yes.
on
And,
today.
and I think trying to look at Rwanda, because they have a lot of opportunities working with supporting, I think, young people. So
Yes.
I think that has been very, very key to integrate our biggest part of people in
Ease
there.
of doing business as well. Setting up a
Yes.
company has been quick.
Yes.
We want every informal business to be able to have that process. We can learn from that to replicate it in all the other countries that we're operating from. I think those are the key features that have prompted us to go about it that way.
Okay. Thanks a lot, James. I think we are just beginning on the product. We will have a lot of conversation about our product, and we'll bring a lot of guys we work with to be able to share their part into the product, and maybe interview some of also our customers that are excelling with our product. So that will be coming up in our segments. Thank you so much, James, for this one.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being part of this, and we will see you again next week,
just
or
before
maybe
we
any
see
other
them,
show.
everybody who's got a browser watching this on phone, just get out your phone,
Yes.
click afwego.com.
Yes.
Open an e-shop today.
Yes.
Open a website today.
can build your mobile
if
app.
you can't, you can build an application there. There are
don't
lots of
need any
templates.
skill.
You don't need any skill. You don't need any capital. You have lots of free trials to take it out on, and then there will be a lot of market for you out there to check it out. That's it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And ciao. Bye.
Bye-bye.